one of India's neighbors, Sri Lanka, is going through tough times both politically and economically, and the country has a disturbing history when it comes to civil wars. And today we will be discussing one of its aspects. Hello and welcome to the in-depth series section of Drishti IAS. I am Aisha Singh, and in today's video we will be discussing about the Sri Lankan president to implement 13th amendment of the Sri Lankan constitution. So this 13th amendment is what is making the news nowadays. So let us first understand the timeline. First we will be looking at the news, then what is 13th amendment of Sri Lankan constitution, then 13th amendment implementation, what is the scenario at present, what is India's stance on it, in the end a prelims MCQ and a mains practice question. This topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 2, that is international relations, and from India's perspective, being a neighbor of India, Sri Lanka is of utmost importance to us. So the news has been taken from Indian Express, and the news says Prime Minister Modi urges Sri Lankan president to implement 13th amendment. What is it and why India cares about it? So recently the Sri Lankan president was on India's visit, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has conveyed to him that the implementation of the 13th amendment, it needs to be taken care of. So the Sri Lankan president Ranil Wickremesinghe held an all-party meeting on July 26th to discuss the issue of Tamil reconciliation and welfare. So the 13th amendment is also related to Tamil reconciliation and welfare, and it also talks about the devolution of power or responsibility, holding of the elections, the provisional elections. So Tamil reconciliation and welfare, as Tamils are mainly located into the northern and eastern provinces of the Sri Lanka, and that is the reason where they are mostly settled down. So, and Tamil is also a community which over the years has demanded for its welfare. Then the Sri Lankan president Ranil Wickremesinghe was on a visit to India recently, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi conveyed to him the need to ensure a life of dignity for the Tamil community in the island nation, as the Tamil community of India, which majorly resides in the Tamil Nadu state of India, which is on southern India, and majority of the Tamil people are also staying in Sri Lanka, and it is committed to implementing the 13th amendment to Sri Lanka's constitution. This is what the Sri Lankan president has conveyed to Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi, that they are committed to implement the 13th amendment to Sri Lanka's constitution. Now let's talk about that. What is 13th amendment to Sri Lanka's constitution? So the 13th amendment comes under the India-Sri Lanka Accord, which was signed in the year 1987. So under the India-Sri Lanka Accord, this 13th amendment comes, and the India-Sri Lanka Accord 1987 was signed between then Prime Minister of India Rajiv Gandhi and President J.R. Jayawardene of Sri Lanka, and it talks about holding provincial council elections. So the provincial council elections at present and since last around I would say 5 to 6 years are not being held, and it has its own history. So this 13th amendment talks about provincial council elections, holding of the provincial council elections and taking care of the provincial council election, and also talking about the devolution of power. Then the Tamil minority in Sri Lanka was concentrated in the northern and eastern provinces. So Sri Lanka was divided into 9 provinces, and out of these 9 provinces, in the like for example, if imagine this is the map of Sri Lanka, then the northern and the eastern provinces is what the Tamil people are concentrated in. And in the 1987 accord, which aimed at amending the constitution to transfer some powers to the government of the country's 9 provinces, it means devolution of power, thereby finding a constitutional solution to the civil war. So Sri Lanka is a country which has its own history of civil war between the Tamils and the Sinhalese, and also the government intervention into it. So this civil war, Sri Lanka has its old history, and the impacts and the repercussions of this civil war is what Sri Lanka is still facing. So the 13th amendment is basically related to holding of the provincial council elections, devolution of power, and it comes under the India-Sri Lanka Accord, which was signed in the year 1987. Then after the India-Sri Lanka Accord, the constitution underwent the 13th amendment to allow devolution of power to provinces. So the 9 provinces, it was thought that the power needs to be devoluted to those provinces. So for the devolution of power, this 13th amendment came into the picture. And few of the other clauses other than the 13th amendment which became a part of the India-Sri Lanka Accord of 1987 are that the Tamil and English being adopted as official languages along with Sinhala. So there is one Sinhala language, then Tamil, and then English. They are adopted as official languages. This is under the India-Sri Lanka Accord of 1987. Then lifting of emergency on the eastern and northern provinces by August 15, 1987. Because of the civil war which was going on and had been going on in the country since so long, the eastern and the northern provinces emergency, the lifting of emergency from these two provinces where majority of the population residing was of Tamil. Then surrender of arms by militant groups. Because the civil war was going on, so the militant groups was very much active, so they needed to surrender their arms. Then the government of India, this is an important clause for you people to know, because this is where the role of India comes into the picture, that why India is considered an important partner in the India-Sri Lanka Accord of 1987, and which is that clause which makes India responsible for it. So that is, the government of India will underwrite and guarantee. So it is the government of India who will guarantee about the resolutions. So whatever the resolutions would be provided, it is the responsibility of the government of India, or the government of India will give the guarantee that they will look into the things, whether things are being done nicely or not. Then comes the 13th amendment implementation. So what is the implementation part? That if the India-Sri Lanka Accord of 1987 talks about the implementation of the 13th amendment, then why till now the implementation has not taken place properly about the devolution of power to the 9 provinces? So what is the issue? The provinces across Sri Lanka were given greater autonomy after the amendment, except the northern and eastern regions. So it is not that all the 9 provinces of Sri Lanka were not given the autonomy. All other provinces were given autonomy, but the areas where the Tamil population was in majority, that is the northern area and the eastern area, except these 2 areas, all other areas got their autonomy, but these 2 did not, and these 2 areas remained under the central government, and central government retained the land and police powers, and separation of powers was never done fully between the central government and the provincial governments. And Sinhala nationalists also oppose the 13th amendment as they see it as imposed by India. So on one hand there were Tamils, on second or the other hand it was Sinhalas. So the Tamils were in favor of getting the autonomy for the northern and the eastern provinces, but the Sinhalas were not in favor of it because they thought that the 13th amendment is something which is imposed by India, as the government of India was a guarantor in it. Then according to the accord, north and eastern provinces were to be merged into one, but this was for temporary region or the temporary time period, that the northern and eastern province had to be merged into one. This is what was given into the accord, that the eastern and the northern province where the Tamils were in majority, they need to be merged into one, but this was only for a temporary time period. And after that what happened was, elections to the merged northeastern province were held in 1988. So earlier there was Northern Province and Eastern Province, but it was given in accord that they needed to be merged for a temporary time period, and they became one. And elections to the merged were held in 1988. So after the accord which was signed in 87, in 88, the elections were held in the merged Northeastern Province by the then CM Perumal. He moved a motion in the council to declare an independent Elam. So this is where the problem started to happen, that the then CM Perumal, he moved a motion and talked about a independent Elam. So when he talked about an independent Elam, what happened was there was tension which rised, and because of the tension after the declaration of an independent Elam, what happened was the president rule was imposed. So the president rule was imposed in Sri Lanka, and the northeastern provinces which was merged till that period of time, which was for temporary basis, now the election or the referendum could not happen, that people could vote that whether they wanted a separate northern or eastern province, or they wanted a one united northern or eastern province. But then after the declaration of independent Elam by the then PM, the president's rule was imposed, and this president rule lasted till the year 2006. So this president rule went on for a long period of time, and referendum on the two provinces were never held. And this referendum and the two provinces are the Northern Province and the Eastern Province. So the referendum never took place, and the Northern and the Eastern provinces were separated again in the year 2007. So what happened? Are you getting the point? First they were separated, then according to the accord they were merged, but due to the declaration of an independent Elam, the president rule got imposed, and then the referendum could not take place. By then it was merged only. So the north and the eastern provinces were separated again in the year 2007. So in the year 2007, the northern province and the eastern province were separated, and elections to the Eastern Provincial Council took place in the year 2008, and in the Northern Provincial Council took place in the year 2013. So this is the problem, and this is the reason why the implementation of the 13th Amendment could not take place. And one of the biggest reason is the civil war which has continuously been going on in the country Sri Lanka. Then what is India's stance? So recently the Prime Minister of India has conveyed that the Sri Lanka needs to look into the implementation of the 13th Amendment and needs to give the Tamils which are residing in the northern and the eastern provinces of Sri Lanka a dignified life. So India supports both political and economic stability in the island nation, as it is one of India's neighbors, and India and Sri Lanka shares a very long history. Then Sri Lanka should take necessary steps to address the legitimate aspirations of the Tamil community. They need to have a dignified life. They need to have respect where they are living. And the full implementation of the 13th Amendment in Sri Lanka is critical. It is very critical for achieving reconciliation with the minority Tamil community. Because if the Tamil community will not be reconciled, then the civil war will keep on going, and it will last for long, and the relationship between the Tamils and the Sinhalese, it will take a lot of time to improve. Now it's time for the prelims MCQ, and you people need to tell me the answer in the comment section. The 13th Amendment to Sri Lanka's constitution is associated with ethnic conflict, foreign affairs, devolution of power, or none of the above. We have discussed this in the whole of the video. You should be able to answer this one. Now coming on to the mains practice question. This is a 10 marker question. You need to write it in 150 words, and the question is simple, saying what is the 13th Amendment to Sri Lanka's constitution? Also put light on India's role in it. So you have to start in your introduction about what is the 13th Amendment. Then in the body you need to write about its various provisions. Why is it so important? Little bit about its history. Then you also have to talk about India's role in it. What role has India played, or what is India's stance? Then you need to write a conclusion that how things can be done nicely. So try to do your answer writing practice. This is an easy question, basic one. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading and keep writing.